Hello, traders. FX Pip Collector here. Today is Thursday, and it is March 13th, and this is my morning video where we cover the US dollar pairs, including gold, and we look at a couple of the JPY pairs. If you haven't done so already, definitely do check out my free Discord trading community, linked at the end of this video in the corner and in the description. Also, don't forget to check out my website, fxpipcollector.com, if you'd like to gain access to all the benefits listed below and more. So US dollar so far this week has pretty much made a doji candle. Not much going on with the dollar. I still think that we're going to make our way down to this area, but whether or not we get a big pullback now, I guess is the question. The market has been very, very, very slow on the dollar pairs this week. We're going on to about 6 or 7 days of pretty much no price action. Now, I do not disagree with anybody that thinks that the dollar potentially should make a bigger pullback and maybe even turn into like a much bigger pullback if it really is like a wave one and a wave two. The problem is I've seen these situations before where it looks like it's going to go up, but we're in a strong downtrend, but instead it just keeps on going down to the next Fibonacci level. So keep in mind the trend is definitely still down and it does not have to make a pullback. So keep that in mind for sure. So anyways, first thing I like to do also is check out the news calendar. We got PPI news today and core PPI, and then we also have unemployment news for the US dollar today. That's at 12:30 GMT time because the clocks changed in the US. So definitely do check that out. Pretty important news event for sure. So anyways, yeah, I mean the dollar is definitely still in a downtrend, and we have to realize that any little movement we see to the down upside could possibly just be a correction to the downtrend. So moving on to the euro dollar did start a little bit of a pullback, but does that little pullback prove to me that it's going down in any significant way? It definitely doesn't. If anything, this looks to be very clearly a wave one, wave two, wave three of wave three. Maybe it does stretch out and make a big old wave four, and then eventually go up and make a wave five, or maybe this is just a little teeny correction within an uptrend. The fact that we're not at a Fibonacci level is definitely making me be very bullish still. So going down to the 1 hour time frame, I got my Fibonacci retracement on this last push up right here. I am definitely looking for a reaction at pretty much any Fibonacci level. If we do get a nice impulsive engulfing move to the upside at a Fibonacci level, I definitely am still recommending looking for longs in an uptrend. Yes, I do agree. It looks like we should make a pullback, but I do definitely disagree that there's any proof that we're making any bigger pullback than just a correction to the last 5 waves up. So we're looking for one, two, three waves down to a Fibonacci retracement level and golfing move to the upside for more long opportunities. Moving on to the pound dollar. Pound dollar, same thing. I mean, I wouldn't disagree if you said it looks like it's due for a pullback. I just know that I've seen these type of situations before where it looks like a pullback is needed, and then it just shoots up to the next Fibonacci level before you get a significant pullback. So be very careful with sorting the dollar pairs still. Going down to the 1 hour time frame is where I got my Fibonacci retracement on the last impulsive move up from high to low. I personally am still looking for longs at the end of three-way pullbacks. I'm looking for Fibonacci bounces. I'm looking for nice engulfing moves to the upside. 3 waves down, Fibonacci bounce, engulfing move to the upside is exactly what I'm looking for more longs. Like I said, there's really no proof whatsoever that the market's going down in any significant way. So definitely looking at any moves to the downside as nothing more than a correction to the last wave up. So definitely still recommending longs. Moving on to the Aussie dollar. The Aussie is definitely quite a bit different than the other dollar pairs because the Aussie's not that strong. But I still think this is potentially a one. I still think that we could already have a two. I still think, yeah, maybe it will pop down, make a more proper ABC correction. But I do think that the trend is up. And I think that eventually we are going to take off to the upside for a big old wave three. Doesn't have to happen now. Doesn't even have to happen this week. It potentially could even go down and make a wave C before it starts its big move to the upside. So going down to the 1 hour time frame, very sideways, very corrective looking. I still think this right here looks like a proper ABC correction already. The problem is if that was the end of an ABC, then it should be maintaining impulsive movement to the upside, which it's really not. But if you look, it is higher low, it is higher low, and if it makes another higher low, another impulsive move up, I would probably continue to look for longs every single chance I get because I do think at some point it is going to take off in a big old wave three on the much higher time frames. And wave threes are supposed to be the biggest, strongest wave of a trend, so we don't really want to miss that when it finally does happen. Moving on to the US dollar CAD. US dollar CAD has been pretty corrective also, but I still think that this first push up is an A. I still think this is an A, B, C of B, and then I think it's going to go up one more time. So I think we're in a three waves down for B right now, and then eventually we're going to go up for C. I would expect this to make another push down to maybe about the 78% or so, and then possibly back up for a wave C. So keep that in mind. Let's take it down to the 1 hour time frame. I think even though this is a very odd looking pattern on the 1 hour, I think this is an A, and I think it's kind of like a motive wave corrective wave B. And I think that we are likely going down for wave C, which should actually go beyond all these fib levels. It should actually go down and take out these previous lows, because that would be an A, a B, and a C of wave B, just like I showed on the daily time frame before we start a potential bigger move to the upside for a bigger wave C. So definitely still looking for shorts and recommending shorts in a downtrend. Moving on to the daily time frame on the US dollar Swiss. US dollar Swiss has kind of been drifting up a little bit too, but I definitely am looking at anything I see to the upside as nothing more than a correction to the last wave down. I think there's a chance it might try to go up to a higher fib level, but we have to be careful with assuming that. It could literally just keep on going down at any point. Most wave A's, which I think this is, or wave 1, which it could be also, do take out the low of wave 4. So I think there's a good chance we will go out down and take out those lows probably before we make too much of a significant pullback. So going down to the 1 hour time frame, I do think that it's more likely it's going to go up before it goes down. It should be a wave A. We should have some sort of a wave B. We should possibly go up to at least a 38 or a 50% for a wave C, and then I think we'll end up continuing the downtrend. I personally am still waiting for sorting opportunities at the end of three-way pullbacks to go short, but if you are trading in a very short time phase, maybe you can try to get a long out of it. I personally would recommend shorts in a downtrend to anybody though. Moving on to gold. Gold is still pushing up. Now, there is a chance that gold pushes all the way up to the 261.8. I mean, I think it needs to go down to make a wave C of wave 4, but it doesn't really have to. I mean, technically, it could just be another A, B, C correction right here, and it could just be going back up to that 238 or 261.8, right around the $3,000 an ounce area. So I am keeping an eye on it because I do think there's still a pretty good chance that it might end up turning down and making a wave C of wave 4, especially with how slow this week has been. I think there's a good chance maybe today or Friday we are going to get some big old moves because the market has been very slow so far this week. So going down to the 1 hour time frame, yesterday I was saying if you get a break of structure to the downside at a Fibonacci level, then I would take it as a short. We never did. We had a nice push down, but we never had a break of structure at a Fibonacci level. If it does go down and break structure at a Fibonacci level, then I'll be ready to say it's the end of a wave B, and I would say at that point, start looking for shorts in a downtrend. The problem is that it didn't break structure, but instead it made a higher low, and if it continues up, making higher highs, higher lows on this time frame, then why would you be fighting the trend? The trend will tell you when it's over because you're getting a pulse to move down, you get a break of structure at a fib level. Like I said, it could drift up to about the $3,000 an ounce area, or it could just end up making like a double top and then go down and break its structure. So keep an eye on your structure as always, because that's what's going to tell you when a move is over if you're on the correct time frame, especially. So going down to the US dollar yen. US dollar yen, I definitely consider more of a yen pair, and I definitely am still very bearish on the yen pairs. I still think there's a very good chance it could go all the way down to here to make a wave C. Doesn't mean that there may not be some pullbacks on shorter time frames, but does mean that they're likely to continue to make lower lows, lower highs on the higher time frames. So I got my Fibonacci retracement on this move. I'm looking for three waves up. I'm looking for a pulse down at a fib level on shorter time frames to go short again. So going down to the 1 hour time frame, I think this move up right here is very obviously impulsive. So I think it's a wave A. I think this is like 1, 2, 3 waves down for wave B. I would be looking at these Fibonacci levels for possibly, if you're looking for a long, for a wave C. I think there's a good chance it's going to go up to at least a 61, maybe to 78% for an ABC correction before it actually continues the bigger, longer time frame downtrend. So I personally would rather just wait for the ABC to be complete and go short again. But if you are trading a very short time phase, you could try to go long for the wave C, exit your long at a fib level, and then try to go short for the continuation of the downtrend. Moving on to the euro yen. Yeah, the euro yen has been very strong, but mostly because of the euro. And I still think there is a possibility because we haven't really held above structure that it may keep going down, and that this move up is just another pullback, and it's just going to continue to make lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and just continue to lower high, lower low series on the higher time frames. I would been saying that if price goes above this 138, that's going to invalidate that, and that's going to tell me it really is going up. But it looks like it turned pretty well at the 138. Keep an eye out for lower lows, lower highs on sort of time frames because this may just start a brand new downtrend. I still think there's a very good likelihood that this is an ABC correction, especially looking at the pound yen as a correlated pair. So going down to the 1 hour time frame, we definitely had a pretty nice impulsive move down. We do have some, minor breaks of structure on this time frame. I would have to see a major break of structure, which would be right here to really know for sure that it's going down in that big way. But I would keep an eye on it. If it drifts up and makes like a lower high, then I think you might want to keep an eye out for shorts because we may actually be ending a wave C and we may actually be starting a brand new downtrend. So I would definitely keep an eye out for lower highs and sorting opportunities. Hopefully it'll go down and break this structure, which will prove to me that it really is a wave C on the higher time frames. And moving on to the pound yen. Pound yen is still in a very corrective looking pattern to me. It went up and grabbed the previous highs just recently, yesterday, so that's really good news because it grabbed liquidity, and now that it grabbed liquidity, it could possibly start its move down. Just like the other yen pairs, every single one of the other yen pairs, I still think there's a good chance on the weekly that it will go down to here, and that the weekly will be lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower high, and just keep on trending down. So I think the weekly will continue to trend with the lower low, lower high. Daily time frame definitely looks like a correction. 1 hour time frame, we definitely did have a pretty impulsive move down. The question is this really a turn on, or is it just a correction to the uptrend? I would be keeping an eye on the move up that hopefully is starting now. If the move up makes some sort of a three-way pullback, and an impulsive move down in lower high, especially if you throw your Fibonacci retracement on here, that's a Fibonacci retracement level, that I definitely would take it as a short. On the other hand, if it starts to push up and it becomes very impulsive, not corrective overlapping like this, but impulsive, then maybe it will go up and take out the previous highs. But I think there's a good chance that it is still going to end up making lower lows, lower highs. And I think there's a good chance that if it does push up, it'll just be a correction to the last wave down, and that we should be looking for sorts at the end of every pullback we see, especially on these sort of time frames. So anyways, don't forget to join my free Discord channel, link down here in the corner. And as always, thank you for watching and happy trading.